Girls are not allowed to play video games apparently. A bit of background info. I'm a girl who of course plays games and love playing games like Apex and Fortnite. I was playing in my office on my PC when enter entitled child tells me,
"Can I play?"
I politely declined and didn't think much of it. He came back and EC said,
"Let me play. I want to play."
My mom was hosting a party, so I didn't really want to leave the room and let him play, so again I said no. In a few minutes someone was knocking at the door, so I opened it. Then EP walked in and said,
"Let my child play."
I said, "I told EC 2 times he can't play, sorry." She grabbed my headphones and said,
"Could you not hear me? Let him play."
I said no again and my friends were dying of laughter, and then EC started to cry. EP,
"Look what you did. You made him cry, you monster."
"Ma'am, I'm sorry, but it's my PC and I worked hard to get it. I'm sorry." And then EP said this,
"You are a girl. You shouldn't play video games. They are meant for men."
That was the last straw. Me, "Listen up, asshole. Gaming is my hobby and I don't care. Your son is not allowed to play." EC,
"Mommy, I want to play."
EP,
"You will wait."
EP continued to go behind my desk and grabbed the wire to the PC. So because I wasn't dealing with this shit, I pushed the mother and called my own mother. M is for my mom. M, "What's going on?" EP,
"Your child is being rude and annoying and not letting my son play. Video games are not for young women like her. You should learn to parent better."
My mom gave them a weird ass look and said, "This PC is my daughter's, not EC's." EC,
"But I want it though."
At this point people heard the yelling and came to see EP screaming at us and EC crying. I grabbed the cord to my PC, plugged it in and started playing again. EP gave up and left the house screaming at us, calling me a
"Slut, monster, asshole."
and much more. My friends heard a little bit of the convo before the EP took the cord. To this day M and I laugh about it. Whenever we see them in public, I would stare at EC, pull out my phone and pretend I was playing games. That was a fun time. Entitled mom and entitled kid tries to kick me and my friend out of the bowling alley because we are better than her brat. r/entitled parents. EM, entitled mom. EK, entitled kid. Me, the F, friend. Backstory. So my friend and I went to the local bowling alley. I live in a small city and it was the only bowling alley in our town. So on weekends it's packed. We walk up and pay for an hourly rate. We end one game and started up a new game. And that is when we see EM and EK. Me, trying to be polite. "Hi, how are you?" EM gives me a dirty look. We already could tell she was a dick and we continued to bowl. But all hell broke loose because I got a turkey. This is when you get 3 strikes in a row. EK,
"Mommy, I want the ball he's using."
EM,
"Can you give the ball to my son?"
me, "It's 12 pounds your kid can't use. It's too heavy for him." EM,
"Give me your ball, now."
me, "I'm sorry your brat can't lift the ball, lady. Now leave me and my friend alone." EM,
"Excuse me, did you just call my child a brat?"
friend, "Lady, leave us alone, we are just trying to bowl." The EM went to go get snacks and we thought it would be the end of it. But the EK is now running up to us and trying to take the ball when I'm using it. One time he almost got hit with it and the EM isn't doing anything. Since the kid can't get my ball, so he goes for my friend's ball. This time EK does get hit by the ball on his forehead. EM comes running back.
"You hit my kid, you asshole. That's assault to a minor."
Everyone is looking at me and my friend thinking we hit EK. The bowling alley owner came over and tried to calm the lady down, but she still demanded that we should get kicked out for hitting her son. So long story short, we went into the camera room and the EM saw that her EK ran in front of my friend and she gets kicked out. Ha ha ha, who's laughing now, Katie?
"Let my kids break your expensive shit, because they're kids."
So picture this, it's Thanksgiving and you are relaxing in your room alone cause you don't know most of the relatives visiting you anyway. All of a sudden, Snow White and the 7 little shits break into your room. They all make a beeline to your most expensive stuff, because why not? A Wii, an Xbox, and several expensive guitars are now in the hands of snotty toddlers. Which wouldn't be too bad if they knew how to use the damn things. Instead, you've got kids pulling your game consoles out of the shelves with no regard for any chords, and you've got kids furiously strumming like hell on your guitars. One of the strings even popped, before eventually trying to beat each other over the head with them. I've been yelling at them this whole time, but as soon as I see the last part, I snatch a $300 guitar out of the kid's hand and ask him what the hell he thinks he's doing. Then he starts to bawl, and good God, was it loud. Enter Entitled Parent, Act 2, Scene 1.
What ya do to make my little boogums cry?
He was about to yeet the heck out of my guitar and crack that kid's head with it. I'm guessing she went completely deaf from her own kids crying because she doesn't seem to have heard that last bit. Instead, she goes on about how I should let her kid play and break my stuff, because kids will be kids. I try to explain to her that these aren't toys, and try to explain how hard I worked to be able to buy them. Again, she's completely deaf to it and literally tells me it's not her kid's problem, before leaving. Exit Entitled Parent, Act 3, Scene 1. So I did what any sensible person would do. I crowded all my stuff on the bed and sat next to it, guarding my newfound fortress with a BB gun, which was, unbeknownst to them, completely empty, and a rolled up poster for the rest of the night. The end. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Woman freaks out and tries to steal my money. This event happened a few weeks ago, and before you comment this is fiction, I solemnly swear that this is 100% true. I'm a 17-year-old male working for a vendor company called Fairytale Productions. It's the kind of company that is hired for wedding parties, birthdays, etc. We do things like photography, a DJ, and the area I'm stationed in, photo booths. I was hired for just the average wedding party, on a Saturday, lasting from 8 PM till 12 AM. I arrive to the banquet center, build the booth, and get a drink from the bar. I get the usual Sprite, tip the bartender $5, and check if I get a table. The guests had begun to arrive at this time, but I didn't pay much attention to them. I sat at my table since I didn't start for another half hour. But I noticed a tall woman, maybe in her early 30s, and her young daughter, maybe 6 or 7, roaming around my booth, trying out some of the props like huge glasses, mustaches on sticks, face masks, and other ridiculous items. Being the kind person I am, I decided to go and let them have a couple sessions before I fully opened. I finished my small drink and head over to the prop table. The girl seemed very sweet and was giggling at the sight of her mom wearing a huge fluffy yellow hat that looked like a German beer mug and had beer rules in red letters on the front. I tapped the mother on the shoulder to get her attention. She turned and gave me a smile, but it felt off.
Hi, can I help you, sir?
She said the last word in a threatening tone, but I didn't make anything of it. Yes, ma'am, I just wanted to tell you I don't open for another 25 minutes, but I would be more than happy to let you and your daughter go in a bit early. She kindly accepted the offer and she went in and out of the booth a couple times before she had to take a seat for dinner. Time skip. I was outside the booth helping customers pick out props when I noticed the lady with her daughter in tow. But the woman did not look very happy about the line, which I knew why. The line was at least 15 people long with them in the back, so I understood. As they reached the booth, the daughter became excited and nearly rushed in the booth if I hadn't stopped her. Whoa there, I say with a smile. There are people in there right now. Just wait a minute, okay? Bad move. As the daughter began to go back to her mother, still smiling by the way, the woman descended onto me.
How dare you talk to my child that way?
She yelled. She was attracting attention from all of the guests, even the bride was watching from the head table. The little girl tried to defend me by saying things like, "It's okay, mommy," and there were people already in there. But the EM, entitled mom, wasn't listening.
You were so nice just an hour ago. What is wrong with you? Turning down my daughter like that. You are a despicable person.
I was just standing there, face contorted with shock, until my body forced my mouth to move and respond. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to come off as rude, but there were already guests in the booth, so you would have to wait your turn, ma'am. Wrong thing to say. The EM's face began to turn red, her face constricting with rage.
I'm a single mother with a young child. I'm just trying to make her happy. But you hate my daughter. You turned down a small child to get a picture with her own mother, just because there are already people in there. Just ask them to leave. They shouldn't be in there anyways. These picture booths are for children.
At this point, the child was on the verge of tears, her cheeks red. I had to force myself not to take the girl away from this woman's clutches, as every thought in my head was saying, "Help save this girl. Her future is about to shatter if this keeps up." I screw my head on straight and reply, "I'm very sorry, ma'am. I didn't mean to offend you or your daughter in any way, but it looks like the booth is open now if you want to have a go." I noticed that the previous occupants of the booth have retreated, seeing that if they stayed, they might have fallen to this lady's wrath. The EM tucks her child into the booth and begins to take pictures. Time moves on and things are normally, but there's one problem. The EM has not stepped out of the booth for over 6 minutes, and the customers were beginning to get angry. "Ma'am, you're holding up the line. I have to ask you to leave the booth and go to the end of the line." The EM pokes her head out of the curtains and gives me a death glare, which still scares me, and replied.
Fine.
She drags her now tear-faced daughter out of the booth and begins to leave, but not before taking my full tip jar and a couple of props. Guests began to take action at this motion and blocked off the exits, asking her to return what was mine.
No, he took my daughter's happiness. Why can't I take some of his things?
She was now screaming, so was her daughter. The bride and groom jumped into action, making her return my tip jar and the props, but not after 10 minutes of yelling. As the situation calmed, I was worried about the girl. How could she still be so sweet with a mother like this? I ran over to the girl as she was silently crying in the corner and gave her the hat her mother was wearing earlier. She began to slow her sobs and looked at me. I began to ask her questions about her mother and if this was a normal thing. She said yes to every question that I hoped she wouldn't. I stood up, gave the girl a warm smile and returned to the EM, who was still shouting about how she was a single mother with a young child. I talked to the bride and groom, telling them what the girl had told me. They looked pale by the time I finished. They then told me I could leave early. As I was putting the computer into its case, the EM walked up to me with a look that said she wanted to murder me.
Give me something, now!
As she reached her bony hand out. "I'm not giving you anything except a call from CPS." This shocked her into silence. I packed the rest of the booth objects and took the 30-minute drive home. All I can say after this ordeal is that I hope that little girl has been given a loving, caring family and that she will be very successful when she comes of age. It horrifies me that there are people like this in the world and I've come face to face with one. I just hope I've done the right thing. Added, I've gotten an email from the bride and groom saying that the girl has been given a foster family that already had a foster child, so she is now in good hands.
Alright guys, thanks so much for watching again and please subscribe to my channel.
I would appreciate it. And of course, give a like if you liked the video and leave a comment. Let me know who you are, what you do, what you want to see on this channel. Have a good one and see you in the next video.